urban is one of those subjects where our ignorance is widespread, pervasive, of varying levels, and strictly speaking, there are no experts at all in this field. We are all wallowing in different degrees of platitudes and uncertainties. When Amitav Kundu and myself wrote a book on what the 2001 census tells us, we found that this particular problem was there. The Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha, was now come back. At one point of time, she said that all these 900-odd town panchayats should now become, census towns. They did not even fulfill the qualifications of them, or they'll become municipal towns. And then all those people said, good grief, you are cutting us off from this largesse which comes from Government of India for rural development. Don't you understand the name of the game is to become urban but stay rural? That is the name of the game. So Jayalalitha promptly denotified a lot of those towns. We continue to have this particular problem. So I think we need some fairly serious research on what exactly is happening. These 2,500 odd census towns, where are they? I would like to see more evidence about this whole business of municipalities taking charge of urban tasks and responsibilities. I think it is necessary that we understand a little more clearly what are the tasks and responsibilities and how best can they be performed at the lower level. I think we need to understand very clearly what are the subjects which can truly be discharged at the local level. In my opinion, it's much better that we have a lesser number of urban local bodies which are viable and which can somehow perform the tasks assigned to them. Otherwise, by all means, let these bodies remain as panchayats under the rural rubric. I don't think there is that much of a difference. The third point on which we really need some serious thinking is, what are the tasks and responsibilities which require aggregation, and what are the tasks and responsibilities which require disaggregation? Aggregation does not mean merely bringing together in one common basket all these responsibilities. It is a somewhat qualitative task, and there is a great deal of confusion. One of the problems we have with regard to district planning, which is a fairly good idea, and mind you, it did not need the constitutional amendment to put that idea. We have had districts as units of aggregation for a long time in this country. They were almost sort of natural entities of administrative and functional aggregation. So, unfortunately, in my opinion, the District Planning Committee provision has actually fractured the business. We used to have something called the Zilla Parishad. It was a Parishad for the whole Zilla. It was not a Zilla Rural Parishad, it was not a Zilla Urban Parishad, it was a Zilla Parishad representing the district as a whole. Instead, we have a district planning committee which is mainly rural in its composition or panchayat based, and you have a committee, and there is a hiatus between the DPC and the Zilla Parishad. We need to have some careful thinking about this. There have been some committee meetings, there have been expert groups and so on as to what should be the functions. It's interesting that the first generation National Advisory Council suggested have one common Zilla Parishad. That was given up. The Administrative Reforms Commission suggested that, we have this common integrated Zilla Parishad. Those recommendations were formally rejected by the government. And I think we also need to very seriously consider the organizational arrangements for dealing with urban. This country has experimented with rural panchayat administration even before the amendments. When it came to this urban, unfortunately, though our political leaders were in the vanguard of independence movement, they more or less kicked the ladder once they assumed power. And we had this enormous spectacle of supersession of all urban local bodies. If the MPs and the MLAs are so fond of getting into the municipal hall, Please return the compliment. In what way can we consider an organic link? We are a highly political society. There is nothing that is not political in this country. So be it. And finally, there has been a great deal of discussion about capacities in almost every session. Whose capacity? I'm not talking about the capacity of the sewerage engineer or the roads engineer or the financial accountant. But if we are talking about the capacity of the political representatives, and if this capacity argument had been advanced before our independence, we would still be waiting to be a free country. I am one of those who believes, give the responsibility to the political person and make him accountable. Finally, we also need to have a careful assessment done, because we have a huge electoral edifice in this country. Much of the urban research in this country has been anecdotal. Very little has been empirical. Secondly, very little is exchanged. From that point of view, I for one feel very, very happy that a conference of this kind, is taking place. Because this is one of those fields where you have to operate at different levels in different frequencies at the same time.